The rain hammered against the hospital window like fists of fate. Each drop a reminder that nothing in Hunter's world would ever be whole again. His father's last breath had rattled out just minutes ago, leaving Hunter 24. Orphaned twice, over-clutching a cold hand that had once pulled him from the streets. But as the doctor murmured condolences, Hunter's phone buzzed with a bank alert, account balance 0. In that instant, he knew the vultures had already circled, and his fight for the man who saved him was just beginning. Hunter stumbled out of the sterile hallway into the downpour of a Brooklyn evening, the city lights blurring into a watercolor of regret. Jack Harlan, his dad not by blood, but by every choice that mattered, had adopted him at 16, yanking him from a foster system that chewed up queer kids like Hunter and spat out statistics. Jack, a burly construction foreman with calloused hands and a laugh that filled rooms, had seen the scared boy behind the bravado, the one hiding crushes on boys in high school hallways while dodging slurs. Family ain't about genes, kid, Jack would say, ruffling Hunter's hair. It's about who shows up. And Jack had shown up. Every time through Hunter's awkward coming out at 18. The family barbecues where whispers turned to acceptance. The late-night talks about dreams deferred. Now, Jack was gone, felled by a heart attack at 58. And Hunter was alone in a high-rise inferno of grief. The cab ride to Jack's modest brownstone in Park Slope felt eternal. The driver's radio droning about stock market dips while Hunter scrolled through old texts. Proud of you, son. That internship at the gallery. You're gonna paint the world your colors. Hunter's throat tightened. His art degree hung framed in the living room. A quiet rebellion against the straight-laced world that still side-eyed his identity. He paid the fare with trembling hands and climbed the stoop, hearing jangling like accusations. Inside, the air smelled of Jack's pipe tobacco and unfinished coffee. A snapshot of interrupted life. Hunter collapsed onto the worn couch, pulling a throw blanket over his knees, the one Jack had bought during Hunter's first breakup, when a college boyfriend ghosted him for being too out. Sleep evaded him until dawn, when a knock shattered the fragile peace. There stood Uncle Victor and Aunt Lydia, Jack's only siblings, faces etched with performative sorrow. Victor, 52, broad-shouldered like Jack, but with a shark smile, clapped Hunter on the back too hard. Nephew. Terrible business. Your dad. He was the best of us. Lydia. Elegant at 50. Her blonde bob impeccable even in grief. Pressed a manicured hand to her chest. We've come to help sort things. Dear. Family sticks together. Hunter nodded numbly, ushering them in. They fussed over paperwork, Victor rifling through Jack's desk with casual efficiency, Lydia cooing about funeral arrangements. It was only when Victor's phone pinged a wire transfer confirmation that Hunter's gut twisted. What's that? He asked, voice barely above a whisper. Victor waved it off. Just settling some debts Jack owed us. Old loans from the business days. You wouldn't understand the details. But Hunter did understand. Sharper than they knew. Jack had poured his savings into Harlan Construction, a small firm that Victor managed while siphoning profits for his own real estate schemes. Lydia, the socialite wife, spent it on galas and gems. Her Instagram a parade of excess. Jack had confided in Hunter once. Over beers on the stoop, their family. So I let it slide. But if anything happens to me, kid, watch your back. Now, as Victor and Lydia exchanged glances, Hunter felt the chill of betrayal seep in. He excused himself to the bathroom, splashing water on his face, staring at the mirror where his reflection hazel eyes shadowed. Jaw set whispered a truth. They weren't here for him. They were here for the scraps. By afternoon, the brownstone felt invaded. Victor pored over Jack's while on the kitchen table. A single sheet typed by a no-frills lawyer, everything to Hunter, his adopted son. This can't be right, Victor muttered, folding it away. Jack promised us the company shares. Must be a mistake. Lydia shot Hunter a pitying look. You're young, Hunter. Fresh out of school. No steady job. How will you manage? We could advise you. The word advise landed like a slap. Hunter, who waitressed nights at a queer-friendly cafe in Williamsburg to fund his freelance illustrations, felt the heat rise. I manage fine, he said, voice steady despite the storm inside. Dad left it to me because he trusted me. Victor chuckled. Low and oily. Trusted you. Come on, boy. You're you. Jack deserved better stewards. The slur hung unspoken. But Hunter heard it, the gay kid. The adopted mistake. His fists clenched under the table. That night, after they left with armfuls of sentimental items Jack's watch, his cufflinks, Hunter locked the doors and wept. Not just for the loss, but for the erasure already beginning. He pulled out his laptop, fingers flying over keys, searching public records. What he found chilled him, transfers totaling over $300. 000 from Jack's accounts in the last year, funneled to Victor's shell companies. Embezzlement. Plain as day. But proving it, that would take more than grief-fueled Googling. The funeral was a blur of black suits and hollow eulogies under a gray October sky in Greenwood Cemetery. Hunter stood graveside, earth damp on his shoes, as Victor delivered a toast laced with anecdotes that painted Jack as the foolhardy brother, always bailing them out. Lydia dabbed her eyes with a silk handkerchief, whispering to guests about poor Hunter, so lost without his dad. A handful of Jack's crewmates clapped Hunter's shoulder, their rough hands a lifeline. Your old man loved you fierce. Kid, don't let him grind you down. Afterward, at the wake in a rented VFW hall, Hunter nursed a beer alone until a voice cut through the murmur. Mind if I join? Saw your sketches in Jack's wall of talent like that shouldn't hide. The man was mid-30s. Sharp jaw dusted with stubble. Warm brown eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Dressed in a tailored blazer that screamed lawyer. I'm Elias Grant. Jack helped my firm with a build last year. He talked about you nonstop. Hunter's guard cracked. Just a fraction. Hunter Harlan. And yeah, Dad was everything. They talked for hours, Elias sharing stories of Jack's dry humor, Hunter admitting the ache of sudden solitude. Elias's gaze lingered, not prying, but present, stirring something Hunter hadn't felt since his heart last broke, possibility. As the crowd thinned, Elias slipped him a card. If you need anything legal, or otherwise call. Jack was family to me too. That card burned in Hunter's pocket all week. A talisman against the silence of the empty brownstone. Days blurred into freelance, gig sketching logos for queer nonprofits and shifts slinging lattes to hipsters who tipped in compliments. But the will nagged at him, especially when Victor called. Voice syrupy, just checking in. Nephew. Sign over the company's shares, and we'll handle the rest. For your own good. Hunter hung up, pulse racing, and dialed Elias instead. They met at a cozy diner in Chelsea. Neon signs buzzing like fireflies. Elias arrived with takeout coffee. His smile disarming. Talk to me. What's eating you? Hunter spilled at all the transfers. The pressure. The fear that being the gay adopted son made him an easy mark. Elias listened. Pen tapping his notepad. Eyes flashing with quiet fury. This reeks of fraud. Hunter. Undue influence. Maybe breach of fiduciary duty. We can fight it. We. Hunter echoed. Heart skipping. Elias leaned in. Voice low. My firm's small, but we're damn good at David versus Goliath cases. And personally, I'd like to help. Jack deserved justice. You deserve it. Their fingers brushed over the sugar packets, a spark igniting in the fluorescent hum. Hunter pulled back, cheeks warm not from embarrassment, but from the raw hope flickering alive. For the first time since the rain-soaked hospital, he felt seen, not as the orphan or the queer kid, but as Hunter, artist, survivor, son. Elias dove in that night, pulling records until his eyes burned. By morning, he'd mapped a trail. Victor had forged Jack's signature on loans. Lydia laundering funds through charity events. It's airtight enough for a suit. Elias texted, followed by, dinner tomorrow. My treat. Non-billable hours. Hunter grinned at his screen, typing back a yes before doubt could creep in. Their first real date was at a rooftop bar in the village. City lights sprawling like a promise. Elias confessed over wine. I'm bi? Out since law school. Lost friends over it, but gained better ones. Hunter shared his own scars, the foster homes where being gay meant bruises. The relief of Jack's arms around him post coming out. Laughter wove through the pain. Elias's hand finding Hunter's across the table. You're brave as hell, Elias murmured. The kiss that followed was tentative, then fierce, tasting of salt and second chances. But dawn brought reality. Victor and Lydia escalated, showing up unannounced with a notary. Sign this. Hunter. Victor growled, waving a quitclaim deed. Or we'll contest the adoption. Say Jack was coerced by your lifestyle. Lydia's eyes narrowed. Think of the scandal. No one wants a courtroom circus. Hunter's blood boiled. Get out. This is my home. As they stormed off, he called Elias, voice shaking. They're threatening everything. Elias arrived in 20 minutes, arms wrapping around Hunter in the doorway. They won't win. We'll bury them in paper trails. The lawsuit filed 2 weeks later. A bomb in family court. Headlines trickled. Adopted son sues kin over inheritance fraud. Victor countersued, painting Hunter as ungrateful. Unstable, the gay drifter bleeding the family dry. Whispers followed Hunter at the cafe, Stares from regulars. A coworker muttering. Drama queen much. Loneliness clawed back. But Elias was there. Nights tangled in sheets. Whispers of "I got you" against Hunter's skin. Discovery phase dragged. Months of depositions where Lydia wept crocodile tears, Jack was always so generous, and Victor sneered. The boys know Harlan. Soft. Hunter testified, voice cracking as he recounted Jack's love. The adoption papers yellowed with time. Elias cross-examined like a surgeon, slicing through lies until Victor sweated under fluorescent lights. One rainy evening. Post-depot. Elias pulled Hunter into an alley kiss. Urgent and unyielding. You're my anchor in this mess. Elias breathed. Hunter melted, but pulled back. What if we lose? I'm nothing without this fight. Elias cupped his face. You're everything. Win or lose. Trial loomed like a thunderhead. Jury selection a gauntlet of biases. The judge, a no-nonsense woman in her 60s, eyed Hunter with faint sympathy. Opening arguments, Elias, poised, wove a tapestry of betrayal ledgers. Emails. Jack's hidden journal decrying the theft. This isn't about money. It's about a father's legacy, stolen by those who should have honored it. Victor's lawyer sneered, a grieving son, lashing out. Adoption doesn't make blood. The gallery murmured. Eyes on Hunter 24. In a borrowed suit. Clutching Jack's ring like a shield. Witnesses piled on, Jack's accountant confirming the drains. A neighbor recalling Victor's midnight visits. Then Hunter took the stand. Heart pounding. Dad adopted me because he saw me. Not the labels gay. Foster kid. Artist. Just me. Tears fell. Unashamed. He built that company with sweat. Not schemes. They took it all. And now they want to take his memory too. Cross-examination was brutal. Isn't it true you manipulated Jack? Used your orientation to guilt him? Hunter met the lawyer's gaze. No. Love doesn't manipulate. It saves. The courtroom hushed. Elias's redirect was poetry, exhibits of Hunter's sketches portraits of Jack. Vibrant and alive projected large. This is what they tried to erase. A son's devotion. Closing arguments thundered. Elias, justice isn't blind to family. It's the light that exposes shadows. Opposing counsel, mercy for kin. Not vengeance. The jury deliberated 2 days. Hunter pacing Elias's apartment. Rain lashing windows. What if Elias silenced him with a kiss? We fight because it's right. That's enough. Verdict at 4 p.m. Fraud proven. $450. 000 restitution. Company shares returned. Victor and Lydia's empire crumbled foreclosure notices. Society pages snickering. Hunter stood, Elias's hand in his. As the gavel fell, tears streamed, not of loss, but triumph. Outside, media swarmed, but Hunter waved them off, pulling Elias close under clearing skies. We did it. For Dad. Elias smiled, eyes shining. For us. Months later, The brownstone bloomed anew. Hunter's canvases on walls. Elias's law books stacked beside. They married in a quiet ceremony at Greenwood. Jack Stone a witness. Vows exchanged amid wildflowers. You made me believe in family again, Hunter whispered. Elias grinned. And you made me fight for it. In the end, money mended roofs, but love rebuilt worlds. Hunter's art tales of queer resilience hung in galleries. A testament, blood breaks, but chosen bonds endure. Hunter woke to sunlight filtering through gauzy curtains. Elias's arm draped heavy across his waist, a rhythm of breath that synced with his own. It had been 6 months since the verdict, and some nights, the victory felt like a dream he'd wake from screaming. But mornings like this grounded him, the scent of coffee brewing downstairs, courtesy of Elias's pre-dawn ritual, and the faint hum of Brooklyn awakening beyond the window. He traced the scar on Elias's knuckle, a memento from a bar fight in law school defending a trans friend. Fighter, Hunter murmured, pressing a kiss there. Downstairs, Elias slid plates across the breakfast bar, eggs scrambled with chives. Toast golden from Jack's old toaster. Fuel for the conqueror, he teased, eyes crinkling. Hunter laughed. The sound lighter now. Unburdened. Conqueror. More like the guy who cried through half the trial. Elias's gaze softened. That took guts. Juries eat stoicism. But truth, that sticks. They ate in companionable quiet, forks clinking, until Hunter's phone buzzed a gallery email. His solo show, Shadows to Light, had sold out pre-sales. Sketches born of the lawsuit's fire, Victor's silhouette as a raven, Lydia's hands dripping ink, Jack's face radiant in the center. Holy shit, Hunter breathed. Elias hooped, pulling him into a spin. Told you. World's ready for your story. But echoes lingered. Victor's appeal dragged on. Motions filed from a dingy motel after their Manhattan penthouse foreclosed. Lydia's charity board ousted her. Whispers of embezzler trailing her Botox-smooth facade. Hunter received anonymous letters, poison pen, missives calling him a homewrecker fag. Postmarked from Jersey. Elias burned them in the sink. Flames dancing like petty demons. They're cornered animals. Ignore. Easier said. At the cafe, a new barista cornered Hunter during rush. Saw your face in the post. That true about your uncle? Messed up. Hunter nodded. Steaming milk with mechanical precision. True enough. Family's a gamble. The kid 18. Pierced lip. Rainbow pin on his apron grinned shyly. Cool you fought back. Makes me think I could too. You know. Hunter's chest warmed. Ripples. Unintended but real. Elias's firm threw a low-key celebration that Friday. Craft beers in the conference room overlooking the East River. Colleagues toasted the Harlan win. But Hunter caught the side-eye, some partners wary of the gay drama tainting their corporate sheen. Elias fielded it with charm. Arm around Hunter's waist. Precedent-setting. Gentleman. Pro bono heart with billable results. Later, in the cab home, Hunter leaned on Elias's shoulder. You ever regret hitching to my circus? Elias tilted his chin up. Best ticket I ever bought. Their life wove tighter, Weekends hiking Prospect Park. Hunter sketching Elias dozing against an oak. Weeknights cooking Jack's chili recipe. Debating case law over red wine. Intimacy bloomed unhurried Elias's fingers mapping Hunter's tattoos, a rainbow phoenix on his ribcage. Inked post-adoption. Hunter's lips tracing the curve of Elias's neck, eliciting sighs that healed old fractures. Love you, Hunter whispered one night, tangled in sheets. Elias's reply was a vow, forever starts now. Yet the past clawed. A subpoena arrived Victor's appeal hearing, demanding Hunter's re-testimony. Bastards delaying tactics. Elias growled, pacing the living room. Hunter watched, anxiety coiling. What if they spin it? Make me the villain again. Elias knelt, hands on knees. They tried. Failed. This is mop up. But doubt festered. Hunter's sleep fractured. Dreams of courtroom spotlights morphing into foster home spot checks. Jack's voice fading. The hearing was in a stuffy federal annex in downtown Manhattan. Air thick with bureaucracy. Victor slouched at counsel table. Gaunt. Eyes hollowed by cheap scotch. Lydia Absentrumer had her in rehab for stress. Victor's new lawyer. A slick millennial. Hammered Hunter, you admit influencing Jack's will. Emotional leverage. Hunter held steady. Dad knew his mind. I just loved him. Elias objected. Sustained. The judge's gavel a punctuation. Cross-examined turned. Elias presented fresh evidencia recorded call. Victor boasting to a bookie about milking the old man dry. Victor blanched, stammering denials. The judge dismissed the appeal on the spot. Fines stacking like dominoes. Outside, paparazzi flashed. Hunter shielded his eyes. Elias's hand firm on his back. Over, Elias said. Hunter exhaled. World tilting right. That night, they drove to the Shore Rockaway beach. Waves crashing under a harvest moon. Hunter kicked off shoes. Sand cool between toes. Elias beside him. Feels like absolution. Hunter said. Head on Elias's lap. Elias threaded fingers through his hair. It's yours. Earned. They made love on a blanket. Salt air mingling with gasps. Body's a language of survival. Back in Brooklyn, Hunter's show opened to acclaimed critics praising the visceral humanity in his lines. Buyers included a queer youth center. Proceeds funding art classes for kids like he'd been. At the after-party, a teen approached. Sketchpad clutched. Your story. It gave me words for mine. Hunter hugged him. Throat tight. Ripples again. Widening. Victor's downfall sealed. Prison for fraud. Lydia divorcing him in a tabloid splash. She sent Hunter a letter scrawled. Contrite. I was blind. Forgive. He burned it. Ashes to wind. Forgiveness was Jack's grace, not his burden. Winter blanketed the city in hush. Hunter and Elias hosted Thanksgiving Jack's crew. Elias's sister. A table groaning with turkey and tails. Laughter echoed, filling voids. As snow fell, Hunter sketched by the fire, their hands intertwined. A new family etched in charcoal. In quiet moments, Hunter visited Jack's grave. Leaves crunching underfoot. Miss you, Dad. But I'm okay. Better. Wind whispered back. Approval in the rustle. Love, he'd learned, wasn't hoarded, it multiplied, defying thieves and trials. Spring brought proposals, not the ring, but plans, a house upstate, studio space for Hunter, equity partnership for Elias. They eloped in May. Central Park under dogwoods. Vows simple, through shadows. To light. Rings exchanged. Plain gold bands warmed by palms. Years folded forward. Hunter's illustrations graced book covers, queer romances. Memoirs of resilience. Elias led pro bono clinics, mentoring young lawyers on family law's underbelly. Their home rang with adopted laughter, a rescue dog named Harlan, bounding after balls. One evening, porch swing creaking, Hunter leaned into Elias. Think Dad smiling. Elias kissed his temple. Beaming. Stars wheeled above. A canopy of possibilities. And in that legacy fought for. Loved into being, Hunter found peace. Not ending, but beginning. The upstate house was a fixer-upper dream. Clapboard siding peeling like old skin, but with views of the Catskills that stole breaths. Hunter and Elias moved in July. U-Haul groaning under canvases and case files. Sweat-damp shirts sticking as they hauled boxes. Our fortress, Elias declared, hammering a welcome sign crookedly above the door. Hunter laughed. Paint-flecked hands on hips. Or our madhouse. Inside, chaos reigned. Hunter's studio in the attic. Light pouring through skylights he'd insisted on. Elias's office in the sunroom. Bookshelves bowing under tomes on equity and ethics. First nights were symphony and stutter coyotes yipping outside. Crickets a lullaby. But city ghosts in the pipes. Hunter woke, gasping once. Dream Victor looming with falsified papers. Elias stirred, pulling him close. Here. Safe. Mornings brewed strong coffee on the porch. Mugs steaming. Plans sketched on napkins. Garden for tomatoes like Jack's. A deck for stargazing. Hunter's career ignited. A publisher snapped up his graphic novel Fractured Lines, A Son's Reckoning, panels blending courtroom sketches with fever dream metaphors. Victor as a hydra. Jack a lighthouse. Launch party in the city, queer icons toasting. Fans queuing for signatures. This saved me. A non-binary writer confessed. Eyes wet. Hunter signed with flourish. Light finds its way. Elias thrived too. Arguing a landmark case, adoption rights for same-sex couples in conservative counties. Victory parade, champagne in chambers. Hunter waiting with takeout foe. My hero. Hunter murmured, feeding Elias a spring roll. Elias winked. Team effort. But scars itched. Lydia Surfacida hesitant email. Post-divorce glow-up in yoga retreats. I'd like to meet. Apologize properly. Hunter deleted. Then undelete. Cursor hovering. Elias read over his shoulder. Your call. No chains. They met in a neutral cafe. Hudson Valley neutral ground. Lydia. Softer edged. Lines etched deeper. I was greedy. Blind to Jack's heart and yours. Tears. Genuine this time. Hunter's voice cracked. You hurt us. But Dad believed in redemption. Handshake. Tentative bridge. Victor rotted in Sing Sing. Letters pleading, family forgives. Hunter forwarded to Elias's trash. Some bridges burn for warmth. Fall painted hills gold. They hosted a harvest gathering neighbors. A mix of artists and advocates. Tables groaned with pie. Stories flowed like cider. A young couple, newly out, cornered Hunter, your book. It gave us courage to adopt. He beamed. Elias squeezing his knee under the table. Later, bonfire crackling. They danced slow to a playlist of Jack's favorite Springsteen crooning of working-class ghosts. Winter whispered changes. Hunter sketched compulsively Elias's profile by lamplight. A swell in his belly weight. No, not yet. But dreams stirred. Of expanding family. Kids. Elias asked one snowbound night. Cards scattered from rummy. Hunter paused. Scary. But yeah. Like Dad did for me. Research began, surrogacy agencies. Foster to adopt seminars. Hope. Fragile as first frost. Spring thawed revelations. A letter from Jack's old crew, scholarship fund in his name. For queer youth in trades. Your fight inspired. Hunter donated his advance. Tears blurring ink. Summer solstice. They drove to the city for Pride rainbow floats, thumping bass. Bodies a tide of unapologetic joy. Hunter, arm in Elias's, marched with the center he'd funded. Look what you built. Elias shouted over cheers. Hunter grinned. Heart full, from alley kisses to this. A movement. Back home. Under fireflies. Elias knelt. Not proposal deeper. Partner in all, house. Heart. Horizon. Rings renewed. Vows etched in stars. Life layered. Harlan the dog puppied a litter. One pup staying tiny sentinel. Hunter's second book brewed. Romance amid ruins. Elias mentored. Voice steady in hearings. One dawn, Hunter found Elias at Jack's grave replica stone in their garden. Telling him about us. Hunter joined. Hand in hand. He knows. Proud. Cycles turned. Love the constant. Hunter. Once drained. Now overflowed, giving back in strokes and stories. Proving, from ashes, empires of empathy rise. Years blurred into a tapestry of triumphs small and seismic. Hunter's graphic novel series spawned a podcast, Lines of Legacy, episodes dissecting family frauds through queer lenses. Guests from survivors to therapists. Listeners flooded inboxes. Your voice made me sue my own ghosts. He and Elias guested together. Banter crackling. Elias's legal breakdowns grounding Hunter's poetic riffs. Ratings soared. Royalties funding a retreat for LGBTQ+ artists in the hills behind their home. Elias climbed. Partner track solidified. His caseload a crusade challenging discriminatory wills. Advocating for inclusive adoptions. A profile in the Times dubbed him the Family Avenger. Photo with Hunter cropped in. Their hands linked defiantly. Backlash trickled, trolls decrying agenda-pushing pansies, but supporters drowned them. Petitions for reform bearing thousands. Their circle widened, a chosen family of misfits. Mia, Elias's sister, visited with her wife. Toddlers tumbling like puppies. Uncle Hunter, Draw dragon. He did. Wings rainbow-scaled. While Elias chased them. Laughter echoing. Neighbors adopted a queer teen runaway. Barbecues became strategy sessions. Sharing survival hacks. Intimacy evolved. Deeper waters. Anniversaries marked not dates, but milestones. The verdict, Eve's desperate embrace. The appeal's aftermath, slow burn. Elias confessed vulnerability imposter syndrome from his buttoned-up upbringing. By erasure in straight passing days. Hunter bared his body dysmorphia from foster taunts. Art as armor against invisibility. You see me, Hunter said. Fingers interlaced. Whole. Parenthood beckoned insistent. They chose foster to adopt. Classes peeling back layers trauma-informed care. The system's scars. First placement, Riley. 12. Androgynous firecracker with a sketch habit and walls sky high. Don't get attached, Riley warned. Duffel clutched. Hunter knelt. No promises. But pancakes every Sunday. Grin cracked. Elias added. And bad dad jokes. Riley thawed slow, nightmares jolting nights. Schoolyard slurs sparking shutdowns. Hunter taught shading techniques. Shadows yielding to light. Elias navigated IEP meetings. Voice steel for accommodations. Family therapy wove them. Riley's coming out story mirroring Hunter's. Elias mediating with quiet wisdom. Victories layered. Riley's first Pride float ride. Face painted with stars. Court finalization, Harlan grant etched official. Party under string lights. Cake 3 layers. Jack's crew toasting to building better. Echoes faded. Lydia reemerged clean. Contrite. Volunteering at the youth center. May I? She asked. Eyes on Riley's drawing. Hunter nodded. Cautious. Conversations grew, her regrets. His boundaries. Not absolution, but accounting. Victor paroled early model behavior. They said. A letter arrived. Scrawled, learned hard. Proud of you, nephew. Hunter read aloud to Elias. Riley eavesdropping. Trash it, Riley asked. Hunter folded it away. Or fuel. Art from pain. Summer camp for Riley, archery. Alliances forged. Hunter and Elias escaped to the City Broadway show. Rooftop drinks. Remember our first rain. Elias mused. Hunter smirked. Kissed like the world ended. It did. We began. Fall brought Hunter's TEDx talk, Inheritance of the Heart, stage lights warm. Slides of Jack's grin. Courtroom sketches. Applause thundered. Invites poured keynotes. Collaborations. Elias beamed from wings. Slade. Winter solstice ritual, bonfire. Riley reading original poem verses of found families. Snow swirled. Finding them. Spring, Riley's art show. School gym buzzing. Inspired by you. To Hunter. Pride swelled. Life's weave tightened. Vacations to Jack's old fishing spots. Lines cast in companionable quiet. Elias's gray at temples. Hunter's laugh lines deepening marks of living loud. One eve. Porch swing. Riley asleep inside. Harlan pup curled. Full circle, Elias said. Hunter nodded, head on shoulder. From drained to brimming.